What's up guys, Hector here with another sort of American holiday, but it's not really an American holiday, sort of an unofficial holiday that people just got together to do and stuff. It's a little complicated, but I'll get into it into this video. So today is April 20th, but it's commonly referred to as 420. So many people around the world know this as a day when people get together and smoke weed. And another name for weed, marijuana, pot, cannabis, whatever you want to call it. There are many names for it. And of course it's a recreational drug, you know, that leaf. I'll put a leaf somewhere up on the screen so you guys can know what it is if you don't know for sure what it is. So basically, a lot of people like to get together and smoke this and have a good time on 420, April 20th. And I believe this holiday kind of came to be, I think the 420 thing came to be because of an actual time of 4:20 p.m. I think I read somewhere online that said, like many years ago, like decades ago, high school kids used to get together at around 4:20 p.m. after school to smoke, you know, at certain areas or whatever, without being caught, supposedly. But of course, that might not be true. You can't believe everything you read online. And so people took the whole 420 thing and then started applying it to the date, April 20th, 420, and then it kind of became an unofficial holiday. And so yeah, basically people just get together and like to smoke or do whatever, eat certain edible type drugs like that, but only, you know, only weed, only marijuana. They don't do other types of drugs. And so, you know, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any recreational drugs. So I'm not all into that kind of stuff. I can't tell you too much about what people do, I guess. Well, I know some people who do it, so I know a little bit here and there, but yeah. And there's kind of a saying that goes around that 420 is the unofficial weed holiday, and then 421 is an unofficial drug testing holiday for places, you know, workplaces. They might do a drug test, and then if you're caught, you know, then you might get fired. Because, well, that goes in the second part of my video. A lot of people from other countries have asked me, is weed legal in the United States? Because, you know, you hear a lot of different things, you know, from the news here and there. And it's a really difficult topic. And, you know, the first part was a fun topic to talk about. The second part is a little bit more serious and a little kind of political, sort of. So the United States has this kind of federalism system, which means there's a bunch of laws and rules by the federal government, and then each of the 50 states have their own rules and laws, which is the state government. But there are some, well, if the federal government already applied a law, the state government can't go and apply a law and say, well, we want to do something differently. The federal law always overrides the state law. But then sometimes there have been some small exceptions, so a lot of times states and federal governments are always fighting over each other. And weed legalization is one of them, one of the topics. And so at this time, I think there's about 17 or 18 states out of the 50 that have legalized marijuana for medical use. Like, you can only use it for medical purposes, like if you have cancer and you don't have a bad appetite, you can smoke, and then it helps you get a better appetite. And I believe I heard something about some kid, I remember some story about some kid getting a bunch of seizures, like a bunch of seizures every single day, but once they took this sort of oil that's made from marijuana, then they would only get like 2 or 3 seizures in a month. And it was crazy. So of course, you know, marijuana has a bunch of medical uses, but the federal government still tried to categorize the weed. I believe it's called a Schedule 1 drug, which means it has no medical purposes and it's just outlawed altogether. So basically the federal government said all weed and marijuana and all that stuff is illegal, but as I said, about 17 or 18 states legalize it for medical use. And in addition to that, there is, I think, 4 states, Washington, Colorado, Oregon, and Alaska, that legalize marijuana for recreational use, which means you can use it anytime. You can just buy it and then use it if you're over the legal age limit. And of course you can't do it while driving or while working or anything like that. So of course there's still rules. And then these states that legalized it ended up adding certain taxes onto this, so the tax or the extra money would go to the state, and then they can use that for different programs like schools or whatever they really need to use it for. And also, not a state, but Washington, D.C., the district where pretty much all the federal politicians are, they try to legalize it too. But since it's still illegal under federal government, sometimes you might hear news stories about federal government officials going into certain states and totally raiding weed shops and just confiscating all the weed, because technically it's still illegal under federal law. So it's pretty crazy, and there's still a bunch of organizations trying to make it legal because, well, honestly, compared to the things that are legal, like cigarettes and even alcohol, weed isn't that bad of a thing. And then in addition to that, all the extra tax money that will go into the system, because, well, I've learned from seeing videos from all over the world, people just don't like taxes. If you ask them, would you like to pay less taxes, they'll say yes, because that's just extra money going out of their pocket. But of course, these taxes go to things that people need. So if you add extra taxes on this, something that people will want and will gladly pay, then of course more money will be going into our system. But I bet you that after a while, if it got legalized and everybody loved it all around, after a while they'll start fighting for less taxes on that. I bet you. But until then, we'll just have to assume. And I guess that's about it. That's all for my video on 420. So I hope this was informative and helpful and all that stuff. So if you appreciate this video, you can give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel for more American related videos, because I have a bunch up and I will be putting up more in the future. Some more bloggy or vloggy like this, and some just quick little English lessons. So if you want to know more, you can leave a comment in this video asking about a certain thing, and I will reply in video form if I can. So that's about it. So see you guys later.